They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost its faith. Our colors will fade eventually, so if our time is running out, day after day, we make them relate our masterpiece. Oh my love, I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down to the dead and buried, on the edge of your knife, staying drunk in the light. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, no one about something so wild of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground, your sanctuary. Shatter me when you die, oh Lord, return me to dust. The angels up in the clouds are jealous, no one about. Hopeless, hallelujah. Oh, this side of heaven's gate. Oh, my life, how do you breathe in, take my breath away? At your altar I will pray, 'cause the sculptor of the clay. Oh, my, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down to a dead and buried, on the edge of your night.
Everyone, it's almost time for kickoff as Genefit FC takes on TMT Chicago in the third round of group stage play. TST rules are as follows. We play two 18-minute halves followed by target score time. At the end of the second half, we set a target score by adding 1 to the leading team's goal count. The first team to reach that target score wins. During target score time, a player will be removed from each team every 3 minutes. And now let's meet today's starters, starting for Genefit FC. In the goal, number 1, Alejandro Barajas Estrada. Number 16, Drew.
Somewhere right now, somebody's pretending to answer emails while secretly watching 7-on-7 soccer from Cary, North Carolina. And I gotta say, that's respectable behavior. Because for the next few days, Wake Med Soccer Park becomes the epicenter of chaos, creativity, and cold-blooded competition as the 4th annual soccer tournament rolls on with $1 million hanging over every single touch. Hello again, everybody. My name's Christian Filliman, known to many as Philly. And after an opening day that exceeded the noise, exceeded the hype, and exceeded the caffeine intake of everybody in this building, we welcome you back to day 2 from Cary. Our upcoming match is a Group D fixture featuring Genefit FC versus TMT Chicago, representing the Windy City. Both teams sitting on top of the Group D table. Genefit is undefeated. TMT Chicago 1-1, and they have the goal difference over Hoosier Army. So this is an incredibly important game for both teams. Both getting ready to start. It is Genefit wearing the white with purple designs. TMT wearing that Chi-Town blue. And we are underway. Your officials today, John Freeman, Deborah Silvera. Couple of housekeeping items for you. TST rules. We've got two 18-minute halves of running clock. No offside, no throw-ins, more importantly, no ties, and each team's got 8 seconds to advance it from their defensive end of the field. We will be talking about target score time as we get to that segment, but at this point, you are all TST veterans. Every game is going to end in a game winner. And so let's look at our starting lineups real quick, as both teams have gotten on the pitch and come off to a fervorous pace. For Genefit, in between the sticks, Alejandro Barajas Estrada, Drew Ruggles, the main man, Meat, Stefan Mijatovic, Alex Sanchez, Manu Ledesma, Cesar Correa, and Oscar Flores. On the run, right out of the gates is Genefit, and there's a shot that gets fired right towards the security guards just outside of the stands. That's going to give us time to tell you the starting lineup for TMT Chicago. At goalkeeper, Michael Mejia, Kemish Gomez, Gabriel Martinez Jr., a.k.a. Gordo, Jose Ochoa, Eduardo Aguilera Aguian, Tony Walls, and Joel Salmarin. First broadcast of the day, so getting a little tongue-tied here as we have a whistle down on the turf. Now, we mentioned TMT representing Chicago, the Windy City. Toughness, chemistry, and belief. And they've got a collection of outdoor players and indoor players, Tony Walls being one of them. Genefit is basically Concaifa resurrected under the Genefit brand. It is backed by Genefit, which is a cutting-edge DNA testing platform designed to optimize athletic performance. It's team constructed and engineered. The coaching staff for Genefit is Derek Huffman and Gordy Gerson, two individuals who were part of Pat McAfee's Concaifa boys. Coaches for TMT Chicago, Daniel Rivera and Luis Mantos. Beautiful day here in Cary, North Carolina. Cary's always been a gracious host, the only host that the TST tournament has had. And unlike yesterday, there is no overcast. We've got the sun shining down, and that humidity is still very palpable in this part of the country. As TMT Chicago looking advanced, and that's Iram Pollo Ruiz, who gets shoulder off the ball by Meat himself, and he kicks it over the crossbar. Pollo is the nickname that Iram Ruiz has. He's a player that's competed in the Major Arena Soccer League for a number of years. Champion with the San Diego Sockers, and is also a champion on the global stage, having won the World Mini Football World Cup with Mexico back a number of years ago in Perth, Australia. He is one of the indoor players, along with Pee-wee Ortega, Luis Ortega, who represents Chicago. He, too, is a member of the San Diego Sockers. And there he is on the ball trying to clear up some spaces. Breck Shea scored an absolute banger the other day. Got a touch. Official blows the whistle, and it's going to be a change of possession. Now, Genefit really competed heavily and hard the other day, winning in target score time against Hoosier Army. It was an excellent goal that capitalized things, and in target score time, Breck Shea managed to get things tied up, which obviously gave Genefit some hope. And then it was Saucy Sanchez, as they call him, Alex Sanchez from the Milwaukee Wave, who had himself a brace, and he got the Golden Fleece and the game winner. So Genefit undefeated thus far in the tournament, and they have the most amount of goals for in Group D. They have conceded 4, but sitting on top of the bracket. And it's important to know this is the final day for the group stages. And it's the top 2 teams from each group that move on, and then the top 8 finalists from the groups who did not finish in the top 2. And it's a close race right now at TMT Chicago and Hoosier Army. So goal differential is going to be something that is going to be very important, because right now TMT Chicago sits in second place because they have that 1 goal differential against the Hoosier Army. Ball gets advanced into Ortega. 11 seasons in the Major Arena Soccer League. Started his first 3 with a team called the Chicago Mustangs. It's the recipient of the pass. And tripped up on the turf. Play continues. And now we have two players that are down. Can't quite tell who it is on TMT Chicago. It looks like it's Sebastian Ruiz for Genefit. And that is player number 9, Joel Salmeron, who competed at the University of Illinois at Chicago, where he was all Horizon second team. He was a high school state champ with Morton High School. Also a member of the Chicago Fire Academy, and we hope he's okay. Looked like he took a nasty knock. And walking gingerly back towards the bench is Sebastian Ruiz. Ruiz was part of that New York Renegades team that won the UPSL championship. For TMT Chicago, they lost to Hoosier Army in their first game by a score of 3-2, but then came back with revenge as they took down Tobacco Road by a score of 3-1. It was Pollo, Aguilera Guillen, and Ochoa that scored, and it was Ochoa with the game winner. It was a penalty kick. So there are your two Golden Fleece winners that we just talked about. So he's going to get held up, and hey, he's not able to put much pressure on his foot, so we wish him a speedy recovery as he's being helped by Tony Walls and Jose Ochoa. He's getting a round of applause from the crowd that's starting to congregate here into the stands. Genefit, again, concave for a resurrection. Pat McAfee couldn't be here. I know Pat McAfee had a kid recently, or is about to have a kid, so congratulations to the McAfee family. All the best in health and wealth, and may it all come stealth. But the core group of Genefit is still there. Mike Foss, who was part of Concave FC and a Forbes 30 under 30 exec working at ESPN, still has this team together. And some of the darlings of the tournament, names that you've heard for the last couple of years, Stefan Mijatovic, lovingly known around here as Meat. He's going to participate in what's called the Home Run Derby later on today. Now, much to the chagrin of all you, that's not going to be televised, but that just gives you an extra incentive to come out to Cary, North Carolina, and check it out. Come out and enjoy this beautiful global soccer festival that's going on. Pass into the box to Zach Reggett. Reggett, a member of the Kansas City Comets. And he scores! Out of the gate, Zach Reggett, as we mentioned, number 8, finds the back of the net for the first goal of the game for Genefit.
Goal, Genefit.
Excellent ball movement. This is a team that has a lot of chemistry. A lot of players have competed with one another, not only in the professional world of indoor soccer, but also in a lot of these Talacha tournaments. Some of these underground tournaments where teams will compete for money. I could tell you just on social media that Mijatovic was up in Northern California competing in one of these tournaments, and from what his social media pictures looked like, he came home with a nice chunk of change. Near equalizer by TMT. Nearly lighting the dynamite was Jose Ochoa. Just put too much hustle behind the muscle. And that narrowly sails over the goal. For those wondering what the metrics are, what the height of the goal, 6.5 feet high, 18.5 feet wide. They're playing on a 65 by 45 yard pitch. And this being the home of the NWSL's NC Courage. This is their main field that got partitioned into two. Another attempt. That one sails into the stands. So TMT Chicago showing us that Chi-Town grit, trying to find an answer for Zach Reggett's goal. Ochoa, who played at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and also in the 2017 Neymar Junior Fives, where he was a champion. So he, too, has a pedigree for success, and clearly a boot on him. Pass comes into Tony Walls. Tony Walls, a highly decorated player in his own right. Played at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Also played 1 year, not only college soccer, but played 1 year of college basketball. He's the Horizon League Newcomer of the Year, second team as well in the conference. Had a pro career with the Chicago Fire. Played over in Rochester, and he's made a name for himself playing in the Major Arena Soccer League. The Arena Boys, and there are over 100 of them, technically, on several of these teams scattered around TST. And we remain at 48 teams. In the corner, as that comes out of play, we just saw Oscar Flores. Oscar Flores had an incredible year in the Major Arena Soccer League this past season. Venezuelan born and played professionally in Venezuela as young as 17. Also played with Venezuela's U23 side. And the statistics that he poured on in his first year playing indoor granted him the title of Newcomer of the Year. He is an outstanding talent. 26 goals and 10 assists in 23 games played. For those of you unaware of the league I'm talking about, check it out, the Major Arena Soccer League, where you'll see a lot of the players, like your Zach Regitz, like your Tony Walls, like your Iran Pollo Ruiz, who just made the pass and accepted it back as he's flying on that, my right side, your left, into the box. And the shot misdirected. But when you run into a 6'4 defender with hair like that, Stefan Mijatovic, you're going to think twice. And more importantly, it's like an eclipse. You're not going to be able to see the goal. Him and Zat Knight, for that matter. Zat Knight standing at 6'6". Impenetrable fortress. Pass comes into midfield to Breck Shea. Breck Shea, 34 caps with the U.S. men's national team. Nearly had 100 appearances playing at FC Dallas. Went overseas to play in England with Stoke City and Barnsley. Orlando City in the MLS. Whitecaps, Atlanta United, before finishing off a heck of a career with Inter Miami. And that was before the Messi days. And by Messi, obviously, I mean the GOAT. The set-piece opportunity brewing here as we're nearly at the 12-minute mark here within the first half. Zach Regit opened up the scoring as a diving attempt by Mejia. He's only been tested a couple of times thus far, but the only stat that matters right now is the stat that's on the scoreboard, and that's the 1. TMT Chicago trying to build out of their back as it goes to their keeper. Mejia was a NISA champ with Flower City. Had a clean sheet in the finals against the Michigan Stars. Also had a small stint with the Baltimore Blast.
Fans here on field number 2, 12 minutes into the first half, your score, Genefit FC 1, TMT.
And for those in the chat that are angry that I said Messi's the GOAT, listen, there's plenty of GOATs. Doesn't have to be just one. There are a lot of players that are the greatest of all time. Why do we all have to compete over who's better and who we think is what? We're all privileged to have gotten an opportunity to see a lot of these people. And I'm not old enough to have remembered seeing Pele during his glory days competing with Santos, although I did catch the clips when he played in the United States with Franz Beckenbauer and Canaglia back in the days when the NASL was the top dog before it folded. And there's a shot in the box punched away by Barajas. So TMT Chicago doing a good job keeping it on their end of the pitch and keeping Genefit FC honest. Despite being down 1-0, they're fighting. Ortega just outside of the box. And the attempt is fired, but the shot was missed. It was Aaron Moreno, who competed at Chicago State College, that fired that Voigt ball off. And Voigt, the official ball supplier of the TST, 100-year history, made in Los Angeles but perfected in Mexico. Pass comes into Mario Alvarez, who's the defender of the year in the MASL Elite 6. 11-year career playing professionally in the indoor world. And his last season was one of his best ones yet. 21 goals, 21 assists, 42 points. And almost a champion. That Milwaukee Wave team has 3 players that are competing with Genefit. It's Alvarez, it's Sanchez, and it's Flores. Flores got hurt during warm-ups in a game against San Diego. And one could argue that had he been healthy and able to play, might have been a different result. Milwaukee might have lifted another championship trophy. For those unaware, and feel free to do the research on it, Ortega nearly gets stripped. Spins around and finds some space to his advantage. Ball in on the left side, crossed in, and 3 Genefit players converge on the pass. But Ortega, Pee-wee, keeps it in play. Spicy player who's got a lot of heart, faced a lot of injuries throughout his career, but you wouldn't know it the way he plays. He is all heart. He may have a small stature, but he might as well be 10 feet tall with the amount of heart that he competes with. Going back to what I was saying, feel free to do the homework. The Milwaukee Wave, 1984, the oldest and continuous running professional soccer team in the United States. If you didn't know that, there's a nice nugget. If you doubt me, feel free to do the research. If you were well aware of that, well, then you're knowledgeable about obscure things like I am. 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Genefit still holding on to this 1-0 lead. High press by the boys wearing purple and white. Pass in to Tony Walls, and just see that 6'6" frame of Zat Knight not allowing Tony Walls any space. Zat also was a Concava player and had a nice career, called Craven Cottage home in England as he competed at Fulham. A couple years at Aston Villa, also played with Bolton Wanderers. Earned 2 caps playing with the English national team. Shout out to all the 3 Lions fans that are in the audience today. Knight, even from our distance, 6'6", looks big. Mijatovic, who also is a towering player, looks so much smaller while he's standing side by side with Knight. Applying pressure is Brian Olaski. Brian Olaski, last we got to see him was in the USL playing with Orange County Soccer Club, but what a career he had playing collegiately at UCLA. A short tenure playing in Warsaw with Legia Warsaw, and was on the LA Galaxy's 2 squad, Los Dos, back in 2019. Opportunity building up. Just missing. Pollo. It looked like Pollo got his boot stuck on the pitch. Iram Ruiz. But TMT Chicago maintaining a nice portion of this half with their possession. This is a team that knows that their performance and their advancement and any shot they've got at winning a big bag of money is contingent upon what happens here. 1-1, and they need the dub. At the very least, a couple of goals just to break that goal differential scenario against Hoosier Army. Promising build-up coming out of the midfield as we're just under a minute remaining in the half. What a momentum booster it would be for the boys from Windy City. But that one gets levitated and back to the keeper. About 30 seconds remaining now, as per my watch. Can TMT Chicago get one back? And that shot looked like it took a deflection off Genefit. And so they're going to have one last chance here at a set piece. Not many corners awarded to either side within the first half. So this might be the last bite of the apple for TMT Chicago. Maybe one last bite of that deep dish pizza. It's been a minute since we visited. The header off the mark. At this point, that should just about wrap things up in the first half. All elementary at this point, unless they had the running clock based on that injury that transpired with Ochoa earlier. Pass in on the right. I'm hearing calls for handball on the field. Yeah, very, very clear and evident. See Drew Ruggles on the pitch. That hair you could recognize from anywhere. Drew Ruggles, also one of the arena boys with Concava, champion with Newtown Pride. If you go back to 2023, he had that cheeky backheel pass that led to the game winner. So this right here could potentially be the final play. Will it be Mijatovic or will it be Shea? Meat looking hungry, wearing the captain's armband. Meat or Shea, your guess is as good as mine. Whistle blows. And Meat into the TMT blockade, and the official blows the whistle, indicating that the first 18 minutes have expired. We're going to step aside here. It's not going to be a long halftime, folks, just 5 minutes, and when we come back, we'll give you some of those halftime stats. As it stands right now, Genefit with the only goal of the game, courtesy of Zach Reggett. We're going to step aside, get yourself something cold and cool. It's Thursday. It's happy hour. And come on back and hang out with your new friend, Philly. You're watching the TMT on YouTube. See you on the other end of the break.
To learn about the power of play at UNICEF. Play is not a luxury, it's a right. Helping children build confidence, creativity, resilience, and critical social and emotional skills, UNICEF works in over 190 countries and territories to ensure that play reaches children wherever they are. Head over to the UNICEF Kids Zone located behind Field 3 for fun-free activities and a chance to win a signed jersey by UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador David Beckham. Duke Sports Medicine is ready when you are, with convenient locations across the triangle and appointments within 48 hours. Visit dukehealth.org to schedule. Fans, scan the QR code on the video board to download the official TST app to stay connected all tournament long. Explore the interactive festival map, follow live scores, view food and drink menus, learn more about teams and players, receive weather alerts, access exclusive discounts, and much more. Scan the QR code now.
All right. All right, we're about a minute away from getting the start of the second half, and let's take a look at some first half stats for you folks. TMT Chicago will come out of the gates with 6 shots, one of them on target, but no goals to show for it. Genefit FC with 5 shots and 1 shot on target, and that shot was a goal, courtesy of the Kenosha killer himself, Zach Reggett, the kid from Kenosha, coming up big, and shout out to the Reggett family that I know is tuning into this broadcast. We were hoping we get to see you here today at Cary, North Carolina, as we did last year, but maybe you're here, maybe you're not. But either way, shout out to the Reggetts. So 18 minutes to go before we hit target score time, and if the score stays this close, momentum could potentially favor TMT Chicago, because right as Genefit FC scored, they came out with some quick responses. I want to highlight one of the GM/boosters for Genefit FC, Daniel Guzman, who I remember from his time working at LAFC. It was during a time LAFC won the Supporter Shield in 2019, and Carlos Vela had one of the best seasons a Major League Soccer player ever had. And Daniel Guzman with this Genefit FC squad and working in that, we haven't seen a season like Vela's since Daniel left. So is there any correlation? I don't know, but you're going to have to check out Genefit. Pollo Ruiz quarterbacking the attack as he gets it to his former Sockers teammate, Luis Pee-wee Ortega. Haven't seen whether or not Jose Ochoa had his leg wrapped up, and player down on the pitch, and we have a yellow card as Mijatovic is rolling around. Did not see the contact that transpired. But with meat, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And he's not the type of player that's going to sit down and milk an injury unless it's for real. There's a guy who's got a background in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. He's as tough as they get, tough as nails. And if you don't believe me, like Indiana University's coach Kurt Signetti said, Google me, or in this case, Google him. They do call him meat for a reason. He was 2024's TST Best 7. Champion with Newtown Pride, and 6 goals, 3 assists in his 22 career games playing here in Cary, North Carolina. So that pass goes from Alex Sanchez. They nickname him Saucy. Was the Golden Boot winner in the indoor games, having scored 32 goals this past season, and second in points with 49. He is one of the best players in the Major Arena Soccer League. Is TMT with a build-up, and that's going to be a foul assessed to Genefit just outside of the box. So this is a dangerous position of the field, particularly when you have sharpshooters like Ortega. And I thought Pollo Ruiz would fire it in, but it doesn't look like it's going to be either of them. Chicago, TMT Chicago, looking for that equalizer. A lot of Genefit FC fans in the stands. And we know Chicago looking for that upset. TMT looking for the TNT. Can the dynamite explode here on this free kick attempt? Ortega's going to leave it. The shot just misses, hits the side of the netting, and that was number 8. So that was Jose Ochoa. It was Joel Salmarin that, I believe, sustained the injury. Oscar Flores wearing the number 16. If you're confused, Drew Ruggles also wearing that number, but Flores does have a piece of tape indicating the number 76. So I just wanted to make sure that that was very clear. If anybody's seeing anything, there are not 2 number 16s on the pitch for Genefit. Pass skirted in to Junior Rosero. Rosero played with AFC Bournemouth at TST and was also part of that UPSL New York Renegades team. Rosero was tied for the most goals in a single game competing at TST with AFC Bournemouth. It's one of many of the English clubs that we had here last year. I know a lot of people were looking forward to West Ham, but after West Ham got relegated, they had other thoughts on their mind. Cesar Murillo is going to go back to his keeper. Murillo, who'd spent his youth with the FC Dallas Academy, played at Lexington SC in the USL and with Villarreal at TST. Villarreal is going to play later on this afternoon against Club America. Looking to work the offense through Mejia. Mejia knows how to taste a championship. Did highlight the fact that he won a NISA championship with Flower City. Flower City being in Rochester, New York. A little over 4 minutes here in the second half. Neither team really threatening the other. Murillo. Right around the RBC Wealth Management logo. And having some extracurricular activity and conversations between two competitive and hungry teams. There's a big bag of cash the other end of this tournament. How big? 7 figures big, $1 million. If that doesn't get your pulse racing and your competitive juices firing, I don't know what to tell you. You ain't got a pulse.
Genefit FC 1, TMT Chicago 0.
So TMT Chicago is going to get another free kick opportunity, and it is Ochoa. Ochoa came close on that free kick on the other side where he hit the side netting on the right. Into Murillo. Murillo hits it into traffic. Hugging that corner touchline. And Murillo's just going to let it fall out of play. No throw-ins. I know we stated that at the beginning of the broadcast. Pass in nearly 45 yards worth of a pass with no Genefit player in sight. Shot into the stands, and that one had some hang time. Hang time that would make the great Michael Jordan envious. Seen Tony Walls pushing his defender towards the touchline. Trying to sandwich him in as well is Moreno. There we see Jeff Cameron. What a career he had. 55 caps with the United States men's national team, and it's part of that 2014 World Cup squad. So Mountaineer in college with West Virginia and also played at the University of Rhode Island. 2-time MLS All-Star. Fans for Houston will remember him as well because he played 116 games for the Dynamo. Holoski gets pushed off the ball, and the official's going to blow the whistle. It's a little shove that led to a set piece. Trying to find Flores. Excellent pass. A back heel. And a goal. Breck Shea. 2 consecutive games Breck Shea has scored.
Genefit goal by number 11, Breck Shea.
And it is now 2-0.
2 minutes into the second half, your score.
The cheeky back heel found Shea wide open on the far post. And both goals for Genefit FC displayed with assists. That shows the chemistry that this team has. Having competed with one another for a number of years. I may not be good at science, but I know chemistry when I see it. If you're looking for a fun highlight, check out that banger that Shea scored against Hoosier Army the other day within that target score time frame. Now TMT Chicago really having a fight as they're down by 2 near the 8-minute mark. And it was number 18, Sebastian Ruiz, he should get the credit for that assist. Didn't hear the official confirmation from the public address announcer, but no question about it. Breck Shea with the goal. Breck Shea a couple of years ago competed in a really fun tournament, or a game of legends. It was aired on beIN Sports. It was billed as Kaká versus Ronaldinho, and that was played at Toyota Arena in Ontario, California, and he was a part of that. Ortega has plenty of space on a free kick. See a wall of Genefit players within the box. Look at Zat Knight on that far post, trying to play the defense. Pollo Ruiz saved. Denied by Barajas. The Barajas blockade. Shot And Mejia making the save, denying the Kenosha killer, Zach Reggett, a brace. Quick play into Tony Walls. Tony Walls with some space to operate. And Tony Walls gets one back for TMT Chicago. Lighting the dynamite. It is now 2-1.
Goal TMT Chicago.
Now I know it is TMT Chicago, not TNT, but that was an explosive goal. And just seeing how Tony Walls put his defender in his back pocket, and a big defender for that matter, and scoring that goal. And this is going to make things extremely entertaining and extremely interesting. So we're about 8.5 away from target score time. You can feel the momentum. You can feel the anxiety and anticipation in the crowd as the pass comes into Flores. And what a touch by the young Venezuelan. Tries to win the corner. Not successful, but a valiant effort nevertheless. Mejia in the Pee-wee. Those unaware, that is his nickname in the Major Arena Soccer League, folks. I'm not just making things up. Ruggles, a defender of the year in the MASL, gets it to Flores. Flores over to Saucy. Saucy Sanchez showing us that footwork. Gets muscled off the ball by Ortega, but sticks with it. Those two had some battles over the course of last year. Or last season, I should say. Moved out by Isao Milan, who played also at the University of Illinois at Chicago and the University of Wisconsin Green Bay for the Phoenix. There he is, passing it over to Francisco Espinosa. There are a lot of Flames players on this TMT Chicago team. Flames is also the home of one Jay Demerit. Jay Demerit, who worked his way up to captaining Watford and being part of a team that got promoted to the Premier League and ended up getting that nod and playing with the U.S. men's national team. So the University of Illinois Chicago has produced some ballers, and we got some Flames that are ballers here in Cary, North Carolina. And a yellow card. Seen a couple of yellows flash today. Not too many tarjetas.
Yellow card issued against Genefit FC.
So, Genefit catches the yellow. That gives TMT a moment to collect themselves and figure out the next phase. Eager for an equalizer, just to make target score time a little easier and more entertaining for all of us. Nico Williams gets dispossessed. Pass hugging the touchline. And the official just indicated that it came out of play. So that was Matthews. Sebastian Carriel, who's got a couple of New York Renegades UPSL champs on this team as well. Sebastian had himself a goal this tournament. Mejia tries to move it forward, but boots it to his counterpart on the other end, Barajas. Barajas sees meat on that far end. Shea on the opposite end. Both players sandwiched in between a couple of defenders. And that was Eduardo Aguilera Guillen. I promise I'll get that right. University of Wisconsin Parkside. D2, CCAA second team, first team all conference. Malcolm X College. Actually, while he was at Malcolm X College, he led the NJC 2A Division I in goals. 23 goals, 19 assists in 2 seasons. So Eduardo's a baller. Feeling that frenetic pace. This was a careless turnover kick towards the TMT Chicago bench. Ruggles plays it in. Trying to find Rosero near the box.
Number 2, your score, Genefit FC 2, TMT Chicago.
Pass comes into Cameron. Cameron advances it across midfield into Shea. Shea with a goal to his credit today. That goes up in the air and into the stands. And for the fan down in the stands, you can't take that Voigt ball home. But you might be able to find it on soccer.com with a lot of your TST merchandise. Free kick here for Manu Ledesma. Punched out by Mejia. That's going to sail into the not-so-cheap seats. Ledesma hits it well over his intended target, which was Breck Shea. Rolled into Pachar. Spent some time at Robert Moses College. Also played indoor with Cedar Rapids, the St. Louis Ambush. And that team's name that I've repeated multiple times today, the Milwaukee Wave. Pass into the hands of the keeper. Not pass, well, more or less a shot that almost was a pass. Shea. Cameron into Rosero. Rosero tries to turn his defender around. There's a tugging of the jersey, and the foul is going to be assessed to Murillo. Cesar Murillo fouling Rosero. In a pretty precarious position on the pitch. Field 2 here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Some final conversations here between Ledesma and Sanchez. Ledesma, who signed at Genoa and played over at Loftus Road with Queen's Park Rangers. Had a couple of years playing at Middlesbrough. Place where he would end up playing his most games was FC Cincinnati. Can Manu muscle this one past the TMT blockade? Ledesma. And Mejia punches it in. Looked like Cameron got caught trying to fire it in. Less than 90 seconds to go here in regulation. Once we get into that target score time, I'll give you those further instructions. But 2-1 target score time is going to be pretty entertaining. Even more entertaining if TMT Chicago finds the equalizer. Tony Walls, who already had the goal, stripped by the Genefit gang. So that was Ruiz. Remember, there's no slide tackling. Bear that in mind. 40 seconds remaining here in the half. See Brian Mazza. Mazza played with Conquefa and was an Atlantic 10 champ playing at the University of Rhode Island. An entrepreneur who was once on the cover of Men's Health. So you know this man's in shape, and even from this direction, you could tell that he is a pro. 15 seconds. And diving in is the keeper. Looking for a slide tackle was TMT Chicago. And they are incensed with the missed call by the official. And the official blowing the whistle indicating the end of regulation. I'll leave it to your judgment at home as to what you all thought about that. But either way, that sends us to target score time. So with the score being 2-1, the target score is 3. So the first team that gets to 3 wins the game. For Genefit, that means 1 goal. For TMT Chicago, that means 2. So that goal by Tony Walls was very crucial because now the hill becomes more of a bump to climb. We start with 7v7. After 3 minutes expire, no target score has been reached. A player from each team gets removed, bringing us down to 6v6. If target score hasn't been reached, then another player gets removed, and we go 5v5, and so on and so forth. We play until somebody scores 3, but it'll never be any less than 2v2. And talking to all the statisticians and the people that have the visuals of all the games, we've only seen 1 2v2 across every competition, across every game here at TST so far. And a big reason as to why, the new rule, the backfield violation. That backfield violation rule was in response to teams milking the clock. So once a team gets the possession, if it's on their defensive end of the field, they have 15 seconds to advance it across midfield. From there, you can't move backwards. Think of basketball. Think of it as a backcourt violation. If a backfield violation occurs, well, there's a changing of possession, and the opposition gets it at the spot of the infraction. The only time that won't be the case is if there's an attempt that takes a deflection and goes untouched into the backfield. Then the 15 seconds resets. And so this moves the games further, which is why one of the main reasons why we haven't had very many 2v2s. I think in the 8 games that I've seen personally myself, gotten to as far as 4v4. So real estate becomes abundant once target score time becomes longer. And just to remind you, what's at stake? Positioning, getting out of the group stages. The top 2 teams advance, and then the next top 8 finalists from the groups who didn't finish in the top 2 advance. So for TMT Chicago, this is an important one. For Genefit, if they win, they go unblemished into the next round, which is what most people anticipate from them. A lot of people thinking that Hoosier Army would be the second team to come out, but TMT Chicago has other thoughts and other plans. And with the goal that they scored, obviously that changes the goal differential. Hoosier Army is playing right now as well, so that's another, well, not right now, but today, that's another game to keep an eye on, especially if you're TMT Chicago fans, because their fate, along with TMT Chicago's fate, are interlocked at this point. So this is the fun, one of the many fun elements of TST. Target score time, no ties, only game winners, because for lack of a better term, since we're on YouTube, I could say this, ties suck.
And fans here on field number
TST is where legends are made, legends arrive, and unknowns can become heroes. So who's going to be the hero today, and for what team?
We are seconds from kickoff.
Seconds away from the start of this.
Right here on field
Sanchez got the game winner the other day with the Golden Fleece. Ochoa for TMT Chicago got it against Tobacco Road. The individual who scores the game winner gets the Golden Fleece. Now that Golden Fleece is a scarf. What it does is it enables the recipient of it to have an unlimited lifetime free pass to attend TST. Ties suck, but scarves are nice, folks. And shout out to our producer here for the line. I can't take credit for that one. So a Golden Fleece is going to be given out. A win's going to happen. Somebody's going to be happy. Somebody's going to go home a little annoyed. The question, more importantly, is who's going to go to the next round? $1 million on the line. If this doesn't make your blood boil, I already told you what I think about that. Tony Wall's getting ready to kick things off here for TMT Chicago. Now, as we've seen time and time again, as we've gotten into 6v6 and 5v5, it's important to note that teams do have the ability to pull their keeper and add an extra man onto the pitch. Like hockey, you pull the keeper and you add the extra player. And an errant pass from Ortega. So wasted possession there for TMT Chicago as now Genefit FC regains possession. Mistakes can be really, really costly. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that, especially with how this tournament format is. Pass to Barajas. There we see number 15, Cesar Correa. 4 seasons in the MASL, 3 with the Milwaukee Wave. A very versatile player. It's a Swiss Army knife. Can do it all. Gets it into his teammate Flores. Over to Knight. And back to Cortez. TMT regains possession, but that pass overcooked as Knight on his defensive end of the pitch is going to get ready to kick it into play. Zat looking for Flores. There's that incredible touch from the Venezuelan. And it looks like he's going to get called for a foul. Nice display of sportsmanship from Cesar Correa, as he and Ortega have known each other for years, competing in the same league. Ortega was marking the much taller Flores, and he had to do everything he could in order to prevent Flores from running around him. Pee-wee right around that 5'5" mark, 5'6" if anything. He kicks it right to the keeper. Quick throw in to Flores, but anticipated by the Windy City Warriors. Miscommunication as Tony Walls hits it out of bounds. Just a couple of mistakes, unforced turnovers for TMT Chicago here in the first 3-minute rendition of target score time. Ruggles is looking for Flores, and when Ruiz slipped, Flores really had nowhere to go, so the pass just rolled out. So there's your changing of direction, your changing of the guard. 15 seconds remaining until we go from 7v7 to 6v6. Intercepted by Cortez. Foul on the pitch. And the officials showing the sportsmanship, and shout out to our officials today. A lot of hardworking officials here put in a lot of hours, and I'm sitting in the shade sweating. I can't even imagine what it's like for the officials, and of course, let alone the players. So now we've hit the 3-minute mark, so 7v7 changes to 6v6. Cortez, Ruggles, Mijatovic, Flores. I believe that is Sanchez on the far end. Saucy would love to get himself another fleece. Mijatovic, who had the assist to his credit in the game winner yesterday against Hoosier Army. Flores hugging the touchline. It's going to stay on this side of the field. Seeing substitutes getting ready to come in as a few subs in the sub box for both teams. Well, no, for TMT Chicago. Ball gets played into Mijatovic. Mijatovic, who originally wanted to be a goalkeeper, but was told by his father that when you're a goalkeeper, you can make 99 saves, but people will yell at you for letting one goal go by you. As a striker, if you miss 99 times but score one goal, you're a hero. And so he took that mantra within his career and used it. He was a forward, but then gets moved to playing defender, and that was the case for him when he played in the MASL, and he's been enjoying being a distributor. Of course, he loves scoring goals. He's as competitive as it gets. Ruggles. Little kung fu kick around the defender. Hustling to keep it in play. Him and Pollo. No arguments from Ruggles as it comes right off of him. Ruggles not only played with Newtown, but he's going to be playing with Solo FC here in the mixed division. That's something that's new in this tournament. If you're a betting person, that would have been the way to go, because there are only 12 teams there. 48 teams in the men's division, and that's grown since the first year. 16 on the women's side, but 12 on the mix. So you're going to get to see Ruggles play some more soccer. Headed out by Meat. Up top. Towards Isao, former Flame, University of Illinois at Chicago Flame. Ortega, Pee-wee pushing it towards Nico Williams. Williams versus Mijatovic, and getting in the way was Cortez. Cortez mapped out the line that Williams was looking for and wisely gets in the way. Cortez, who played some of his career in the second tier in Mexico. Less than 20 seconds remaining here before we potentially go from 6v6 to 5v5. Mijatovic desperately pushing his defender out. Boyo back to Ortega. Ortega fires it off target. And so 3 minutes have expired, another 3 minutes. So the math starts to math. We started at 7. We're now down to 5. 5 versus 5. And it's getting intense. 3. That's the target score. So Genefit pulls their keeper, and it is Mijatovic wearing the pink penny. He's going to be the extra attacker. And this is truly where MASL players thrive, in these circumstances. But that wasn't the circumstance, as miscommunication between Mijatovic and Ruggles. Will that wasted possession come back to bite them? Because now TMT Chicago's bringing out their keeper. Mejia to Peewee. He's going to come off Mejia. So now the extra attacker wearing the orange penny is implemented onto the pitch for TMT Chicago. Up top. Shot. Mijatovic. Looked like he was going to make a save. Alaski. That's going to stay on that end. And this just ties back into what I mentioned. For those wondering why Meat plays the keeper role, well, that's originally what he wanted to do. He credits his father for changing his mind. But make no mistake of it, I've seen him defend a goal. He can do it. So just under 2 minutes in this 5v5. If TMT Chicago score, then it would be next goal that wins for either side. The goal is wide open on the other end, and it is Pollo wearing the extra attacker jersey for TMT. Tony Walls. And no surprise that there's a slew of players. It opens up, and the goal, the equalizer. Pollo brings it back to 2, and we are tied. Now is the time where we sit back at home and start to get nervous. Now is the time where we start to have those nervous ticks of biting our fingernails. And for those that push it even further, your cuticles, although that's disgusting. But either way, it's nerve-wracking. So next goal wins. TMT Chicago, with total firepower and grit, determination, will their way back into this game. That was after TMT conceded 2 goals. Mijatovic to Ruggles. Got Sanchez to the left, Reggett to the right, Flores in the middle. All arena boys. The Kenosha Killer to Rugged Ruggles. Over to Meat. Wanted to keep going through the nickname spinning wheel here. I thought he was going to get it over to Saucy. There is no nickname for Oscar Flores. So if anybody in the chat wants to chime in with a nickname, maybe something that they know of that he grew up with in Venezuela, I'm all ears. Reggett just wide open on that far end of the box. Look for him crashing in. An apparent foul on Jonathan Pachar.
And fans, we're taking one player.
And that was really quick, because now we're down to 4v4. Oye madre, soy amigo. This is a game right here. This is what makes TST fun. If you're not nervous, I don't know what to tell you. Next goal wins for either side. 4v4. A lot of real estate open. So it looks like instead of Sanchez, it's going to be Ruggles that takes the free kick. Reggett on the far post. Mijatovic right around the midfield. Ruggles wide open on the left. Look for him crashing into the box. Playing keep away, some tiki-taka action. Meat looking to take a bite out of the TMT Chicago defense. Mijatovic to Ruggles. Ruggles. Eyes Reggett. Mijatovic wisely not crashing in, as he is the last line of defense for Genefit. Back over to Ruggles. Inching their way closer and closer to the box. Reggett going in and out of it. Ruggles. Just having a little back and forth action with one another, and that by itself has nearly allowed a minute to expire. Reggett! Reggett with the game winner! The Kenosha Killer does it again! Genefit with the win and Reggett with the golden fleece. Genefit wins! My heart breaks for TMT Chicago. They fought valiantly. They fought hard. In the end, it was Genefit utilizing what a lot of these players have done for years, and that's MASL-style rules with an extra attacker. Zach Reggett, not only the Golden Fleece, but clearly the player of the game with his 2 goals. Let's take a look at our final stats for you here. In the end, it would be TMT Chicago with more shots. 15 shots with 4 on goal. Genefit with 10, but 6 of them on target. And in the end, it's the score on the scoreboard that is the stat that truly matters the most. 3-2 is your final score, and your game winner, your Golden Fleece recipient, Zach Reggett. That about does it for us here on field number 2 in this contest. Genefit moves on. We'll see you on the next broadcast. My name's Christian Filliman, better known as Philly. Hope I kept you informed, educated, and entertained, and I'll be here all week. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.